You live where despair stacks higher than the rooftops. People here don't live, they just try not to die. This is your world. Your home is a tin roof shack. You share it with mom and your little sister. Your dad? Gone. Collateral damage in someone else's war. Mom grinds 20 hours a day just to keep you fed. You hit the books with one goal: become a politician. Fix the broken system. Give your family dignity. Then the universe lands its cruelest punch. Mom collapses. The clinic doctor says surgery. The price tag, 5,000 pesos. Your world shatters. To a rich man, 5,000 pesos is Tuesday wine money. To you, it's the wall between your mother's life and a funeral. You need it today. You knock on every neighbor's door. Everyone's broke. Squeezing cash out of the zip code is like squeezing blood from concrete. Nothing. You drop out of school and start hauling crates at the central market. Your spine screams under loads heavier than you are. Pay 100 pesos. You rush home with your 100 pesos, excited to show mom. You find her unconscious on the floor. Her clock is ticking louder than ever. You beg your boss for an advance. He laughs. In his world, empathy is a bad investment. You walk out with nothing. The clock keeps ticking. Then you spot a flyer on a lamppost. Instant cash. No credit. No questions. Your survival brain makes the decision before your conscience can object. You follow the address to a smoke-filled back room. A loan shark flashes a grin and offers 5,000 pesos. The interest rate, 50% weekly, on your body. No house collateral? No problem. They'll take biological assets, a kidney or a cornea. They let you choose which one to keep. You sign, you pay for the surgery. The doctors do everything they can, but mom's body just quits. She dies that same night. You paid to save her. She left anyway. Grief is a luxury the poor cannot afford. Before you can even cry, the first payment is due. The collectors arrive with no condolences, only fists. Then comes the ultimatum. Pay in 1 week, principal plus 50% interest. Or they take your little sister, sold into trafficking. Your move, kid. Just when you're about to sell yourself to the lowest bidder, a stranger slides up. No resume needed. Just small, fast, and desperate. That's you. 1 week's pay clears your debt. You know exactly what the job is. Everyone in this neighborhood does. But you tell yourself, just this once. They take you to the mouth of a hidden cave in the desert. The hole is so tight, only a malnourished 14-year-old could fit. For once, hunger helps. Pitch black tunnel, a trail of painted rocks. Every twig outside sounds like a gunshot. You crawl 3 miles, find the dead tree, drop the package, vanish. You emerge on the other side of the border. A surveillance tower in the distance. You freeze. Your heart is louder than the desert wind. 7 days, 7 runs. Nobody catches you. Your size and street smarts are a professional asset nobody expected. You stack the cash. Debt cleared. You clear the debt. Sister is safe. You feel like the protagonist of a gritty action film. You think the worst is behind you. You are so wrong. Full of pride, you find the recruiter to hand in your 2 weeks' notice. You think this was just a gig. Like DoorDash, but for the cartel. You are wrong. The recruiter pulls out a phone, shows you a photo taken this morning. Your sister, walking into school, smiling. She has no idea you're watching, he explains calmly. In this industry, voluntary resignation doesn't exist. You know the faces, the routes, the system. You're not a temp, you're an asset. The deal is simple and non-negotiable. Keep working, forever, or your sister has a tragic accident on her way home. You just signed a lifetime contract. You paid off the debt, but signed a lifetime contract in blood. 3 months later, the cave route gets busted. Another kid takes the fall. You survive by luck. Management notices you survived by using your brain, not just your body. You get promoted. Burner phone, a vantage point, a new title, Falcon. You apply the same focus that earned you straight A's. You map federal patrol patterns. You spot unmarked cars by tire wear. Efficiency up 200%. The plaza boss calls you in personally, hands you a cash bonus, looks you in the eye and says 3 words. Good job, son. You feel it like a drug. The blood money buys his sister clean sneakers, hot meals on the table. You start calling yourself a provider, a protector, a businessman. The lie settles in, the fear evaporates, replaced by something way more toxic, pride. You're starting to love the game. That is the most dangerous thing that can happen. A stormy night. The rival crew decides to launch a hostile takeover of your turf using bullets instead of lawyers. You and your sister walk right into it. You try to shield her with your body. But bullets don't have a moral compass. A stray round, fired by someone who wasn't even aiming, finds her. Time stops. Rain blurs with sirens. You kneel in blood-soaked mud staring into her empty eyes. You want to die. But death rejects you too. A crewmate drags you out seconds before a grenade turns your spot into a crater. You survive. But the kid who wanted to be a politician dies there. 3 days staring at a wall. When you stand up, you are not the same. The sadness is gone, replaced by something colder, more permanent. Ice. You swear on her grave you won't seek justice. Justice is for the 1%. You're after vengeance, complete, total. You will erase their entire bloodline. You study the art of war the same way you once studied for exams. Your rise is meteoric. 2 years, regional manager, 30, youngest deputy director ever. In the legal world, you'd need an MBA and 20 years bootlicking for that corner office. Here, job openings happen whenever someone catches a bullet. When the old boss dies of a heart attack, chaos erupts. The other lieutenants pick brainless violence. You pick something more dangerous, politics. You find a politician with sky-high ambition and zero morals. You bankroll his campaign with unlimited dark money. In return, the keys to the kingdom. With political power in one hand and military muscle in the other, wiping out the competition stops being a war. It becomes an administrative task. You use blood money to build schools, hospitals, paved streets. People call you the benefactor, savior. You open a clinic named after your mother. People worship you. But every night, staring at your empire from a bulletproof balcony, one question eats you alive. Are these hospitals real? Or monuments to guilt? The crew that murdered your sister? Some accidentally catch bullets during routine police stops. Others evaporate inside max security prisons. Cold math. The president you bought wins the election. He's your most expensive employee. With total immunity, you begin playing God. It's exactly as corrupting as it sounds. Right when you think you've officially won the game, a massive military task force surrounds your estate. Your partner sold you out. The president. Rookie mistake. He forgot. In the criminal world, loyalty is a myth, but blackmail is a guarantee. You kept receipts, every bribe, every dirty handshake. You trigger your insurance policy. Terabytes of evidence leak to international press. Every bribe, every meeting, every murder order, all of it public. The president goes from the palace to a federal cell in under 24 hours. But seeing him behind bars isn't enough. Treason is paid for in blood. One final order to the last loyalists inside the prison system. The ex-president has a tragic accident in the showers. The last loose end is sealed. With the country burning in political chaos and enemies in the ground, you head for the coast. $100 million, a fake passport, your golden parachute. You pull up to the pier in the pouring rain, waiting for the boat to Europe. Instead of a captain, you get a tactical squad. They were already there. Out of the shadows steps your right-hand man, the protege you raised like your own son. He looks at you with zero remorse. He cut a deal. You're the peace offering. In the boardroom, they call it restructuring. In the streets, it's just a knife in the back. You're the toxic asset being liquidated for the new regime. The verdict was signed and sealed before you walked in. Capital punishment. As they strap you to the gurney and the cold needle approaches, time fractures. Your life hits rewind. The skyscrapers you built crumble to dust. Your enemies rise from their graves, and then your sister, blood flowing back into her veins. Suddenly you're 14 again, standing in front of that loan shark flyer, heartbroken and broke. And you wonder, what if you had taken a different path? The final irony. All of it, the empire, the death, the agony, was just the compound interest on a 5,000 peso debt. The math of a ruined life. You were the star student, the kid with the plan, the neighborhood's best shot. Poverty didn't break you. One medical bill did. Think about that. The market where you hauled crates for 100 pesos a day. The same market your organization now launders millions through every month. Full circle, the clinic named after your mother. Children get free treatment there. Real children, real medicine, paid for by people who never knew where the money came from. The school kids in your old neighborhood. They don't know who built it. They don't know what it cost. They just study under good lighting, as they should. The protege who betrayed you? He's running things now. He's smarter than the lieutenants who came before. He learned everything from watching you. Somewhere right now, a 14-year-old is standing in front of a lamppost reading a different version of that same flyer. The cycle doesn't stop. It just restarts. The loan shark is still operating. Different office, different name, same 50% weekly rate, same biological collateral clause, same waiting room, different desperate kids. The gang that shot your sister? The current organization uses their old territory now. Their name is gone. The violence that ended them continues under new management. The prosecutor who tried your case, 2 years later, she's found a better life in a country that doesn't have your organization's reach. She sleeps safely now. Your father was killed as collateral damage in a gang war he didn't choose. You became the war. Everything you tried to prevent, you became it exactly. You achieved every metric of success the criminal world measures. Money, power, revenge, fear, loyalty, and it cost your mother, your sister, your soul, your life. The system that made it possible for a kid to need a loan shark at age 14, that system is still running. Nobody fixed it. Nobody is trying to. You were never the villain of your own story. You were the protagonist of a story that had no good options. That's what poverty actually is. The 5,000 pesos. If there had been a free public health system, your mother lives. None of this happens. The math of what policy actually costs. Every empire built on exploitation has an expiration date. The only variable is how many people it destroys before the bill comes due. Always comes due. The deepest tragedy, you were brilliant, top student, strategic mind, political instinct. Born in a different place, you would have changed the world legitimately. The organization's product keeps crossing borders. The routes you mapped still work. Your intelligence still functions. You are replaceable. The system is not. The international press that ran your leaked documents? 3 months later, they move on to the next story. The system you exposed is already rebuilt. The new administration labels you a monster. They use your file in a campaign ad. They built their careers on prosecuting you. The system needs its monsters. Somewhere in the cartel's network, a 14-year-old girl who just became a falcon. She's applying the same intelligence you once had. The cycle continues exactly. Your mother's clinic delivers 200 babies a year. Clean, safe, free, named after her, staffed by doctors paid with laundered money. The complicated math of legacy. In prison, you had access to books. You read everything you missed during the years you spent building the empire instead of studying. Too late, but real. You wrote a letter from prison to the court asking that the clinic and schools remain operating after your execution. They honored it. The institutions outlived you. The protege visited you once. He sat across the glass and told you he learned everything from you. You asked him one question. He didn't answer. He left. On the day of your execution, the neighborhood you built held a silent vigil. People who never knew where the money came from lit candles for a man they called a saint. The sister's room, untouched. After she died, you kept paying rent on the shack just to keep her room exactly as it was. For 13 years. If you had never borrowed that 5,000 pesos, Your mother might still have died, but you would have been free. Sometimes the debt we take destroys us, not the illness. The detective who built the case against you. She spent 11 years on it, used your leaked documents as the foundation. She finally believed in justice again. Every choice in your life was made under conditions of impossible pressure. Does that make you innocent? No. Does it make it complicated? Completely. Both are true. The story you just heard is fiction. But right now, someone is living this exact nightmare. The real injustice isn't the crime. It's the conditions that created it. They demolished the old shack eventually, built a government housing unit on the lot. Clean, tall, affordable. 30 years too late. As always, the loan shark's office, rebuilt as a credit union 3 years after your case, offering microloans at 3% annually to small business owners. Progress exists. The school the protagonist built now produces the lawyers and doctors, and yes, politicians, who are slowly fixing the system he both suffered under and ran. One of those graduates became a public defender. She works the cases of kids charged with the same crimes the protagonist committed at 14. She knows the math. The biggest takeaway from this story isn't about crime, it's about what happens when society fails a child and then punishes the adult for surviving that failure. Your name appears in 3 places now: the clinic, the school, and the criminal indictment. The first 2 will outlast the third. Memory is complicated. The real protagonist of this story was never the protagonist. It was poverty. Poverty is the organization that recruits everyone. No meetings required. The morning of the execution, he asked for one thing: that somebody tell the clinic staff thank you. He wanted them to know someone appreciated what they did. This story is fiction, but the structure it describes, the debt trap, the forced recruitment, the trafficking threat, that infrastructure is completely real, right now. What was your biggest takeaway? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. Because these stories only matter if they make us think differently. See you next one.